Okay, we got it. We're good. We're going.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
how the concert go last
the
night?
concert was great. It started a little later. It
Uh-huh.
was it's funny because it's Catholic all girls school, and they invite the all boys school to come and
Oh, wow. Wow,
yeah, so it's funny.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So yeah, they
And Isaiah's
the
part of the
whole
orchestra,
orchestra, as they
orchestra.
yeah, orchestra is a violin, the cello and all of that. Yeah, so it was fun. We didn't stay till the very end. Yeah, so I came home, put Bella Joy to bed, drove the babysitter back to her house, and yeah, so it was
Bella Joy feeling better now?
she's back to
Good.
school
That's
since
good.
since Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I have Noah sick now.
Oh, it's just going to go around. I'm worried because
Yeah, so they
Corvo
don't have
has
the
a.
same thing, but yeah, Noah is homesick today. Actually, since last night. When I
Mm,
came home, he had just taken a shower and he was shivering. She's like, I'm so cold. So
yeah,
yeah, he went
yeah.
to bed right away. And this morning he still had fever.
That might be the same thing that Corvo has been experiencing for the past couple of
Mm.
days. Yeah, it's
Oh, okay. So
fever,
maybe,
cough. Yeah,
oh,
not COVID, but
yeah, no, is not coughing. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's I'm like, well, we
I'm
gotta
not sure.
keep our
I'm not
distance.
sure it's COVID. No, I don't think it's
Yeah.
COVID. Um, yeah, never. Yeah, it has never been COVID around in my house, so it's
Mm,
fun.
yeah,
Mm.
it's. I feel bad for because I know when I've had bouts of certain kinds of viruses where there's just coughing, like this endless coughing, and that's what
Mm.
Corvo is experiencing right now, and I'm like,
Oh, poor thing.
yeah, yeah,
It's hard to see even when like she's what 20, 19 or
19
20.
right now, yeah,
Yeah.
19,
So even when they're 19,
yeah,
we still worry about them.
yeah.
So I made an appointment tomorrow. I am about to do something super bold. I don't know if I'm going
Oh,
to do it, but then we'll see. So I'm not saying more about it. I made an appointment tomorrow, and we'll see. I will either the we'll talk either way. We'll talk about it
uh,
when we talk tomorrow.
yeah. I'm excited, and now you've got me. It's like I'm excited to hear what what you have to say about that.
That's funny.
I love it when when I hear my friends doing something super bold, and that gives me encouragement to do bold things in my life as
Yeah, I think
well.
we should do them.
Yeah,
We should, I
yeah.
had an idea. I had an appointment yesterday in a coffee shop, and then a lady came and sat, and we started chatting.
Mm.
She was from San Francisco,
Mm.
and she was a head of a hedge fund. No, it wasn't a hedge fund. It was something less. I have her name here. Let me see.
Like a mutual fund or a I don't even know all
Something
the
like
names of
that. And then
yeah.
she's so funny because she didn't have a card, but she said, "Oh, I let me text you my contacts. My kids,
Hmm.
told me how to do that."
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
she was just very inspiring. And I love that she, chatted with me and
So this was
shared.
somebody you just met. You'd never met her
Oh
before,
yeah.
and
I talk to people all the time.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she came, she sat, and I think she was wearing, she had these red glasses, and
Hmm.
she
Hmm.
had the same camel coat than me,
Hmm. Hmm.
and wearing boldly her lipstick. And actually she had a Longchamp bag. This is a brand that I know. It's a
Hmm.
French brand that I
Hmm.
own a bag like that. And I say, "Oh, I love your Longchamp." And then so we started talking. So I always find something that connects me to people. And I started the conversation, and I'm so glad I met her. She inspired me, and I'm going to do something bold. So we'll see. We'll
Oh,
see.
that's
I'll talk
amazing.
about it more.
Yeah, I
And
could work on that in my life a little more. There have been times where I'll walk up to a stranger and start a conversation, and
yeah,
what I found is if you're interested and you just let them speak, for a lot of people you meet, they don't have that opportunity to just talk about themselves.
yeah. I
And so
think, as you
if
said,
you give them that opportunity, that's serving them really powerfully.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think everyone wants to be listened to. And
Yes.
so if
Yeah.
if you're interested in people, it's to be
Yeah.
interested and not interesting. Somebody
Yeah.
said that. It's
Exactly.
not about talking about yourself all the time,
Yeah.
but it's to be interested in people. And I am genuinely interested in people.
Mhm.
Anyway, talking about that, I was thinking about the values we've talked about that guide our
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
And I realized that there are two values that I took out that are part of me, but they're more about me.
Mhm.
And I know that the other five values I talked about are also how I relate to the world
Yes.
and my connection with people.
Yeah.
So, two values that I took out that are very important that I will bring in. And I even found a way actually to two of my values are and the unconditional love and loving kindness. But I
Mhm.
feel like
Mhm.
unconditional love and loving kindness can go together.
Yes. Yeah.
And my overarching value is connection.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
connection. And in connection, I have the love, I have the loving kindness, and I have the unconditional love,
Mhm.
because it's me, my relationship to others. And I even found that the first thing in connection is not my relationship with others, it's my relationship to myself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
So
was going to say when you were I was thinking, connection can be with other people, but more importantly, your deep connection with your relationship to
because
yourself.
whatever I am
Yeah.
not to myself, I can be to
Yeah.
others. And we've talked about that over and
Yeah.
over again. So
Yeah.
my
It-
value,
yeah.
I think one of my biggest value is that desire, that first like connection with myself and then
Yes.
connection with others. I am
Yeah.
always in relationship with
Yeah.
others, and that's important to me. I think life is so much better when we are together.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
for me to be the best version of myself with others, I first need to be the best version of myself
Yes.
with
It
me,
starts
to
with
fully
me.
accept
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
to fully love
Yeah.
myself, and to
Yeah.
fully care for myself. So,
Yeah.
and the second one that is just evident to me is beauty. Beauty is a huge value of me. My
Mhm.
website is Beautifully Woman, and everything
Mhm.
is about beauty, my perception of beauty.
Mhm. And
So,
you practiced recognizing the beauty in all
in
things,
others,
in
yeah,
others, and all things, and all
yeah,
other people,
yeah.
and in
So I wanted
yourself too, right? And in
in
yourself.
myself too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to bring those two, but like their big connection and beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. That's fantastic. And that's for it's instructive for all of us, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
for me. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I think it can be for everyone, at least beauty, because it's so relative. It's what
Mhm.
do you consider beauty? For me, nature is beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, Loving, seeing a child smiling is beautiful. But
Mhm.
also flowers are beautiful. A tidy
Yeah.
home is beautiful. A
Yep.
lipstick is beautiful. So it's
Mhm.
so vast. What does it mean to you, right?
Mhm.
What beauty means to me is maybe not what it means to you, but I
And
think
and that's
love,
okay, right?
yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And I think it's just love and beauty and order. Those are the things from up high from the Lord or
Mhm.
connection or
Mhm.
source.
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I wanted to share with you what my experience last night. As I was at the grocery store, and I was shopping, and a lot of things went through my head, and I'm practicing, especially lately. One of my core principles is I'm the loving observer of my experience, of my thoughts. And so as I'm going through there, I'm thinking, well, I'm looking at the eggs, and the eggs are 4.49 a dozen for these are the Kroger King Super eggs. These are, and I'm thinking, oh, it's inflation and all this stuff. And then the cart I had was, um, how sometimes you're pushing a cart and the wheels aren't working right, they're not adjusted
Mhm.
right or something, and so it's making this rattling noise. And I thought to myself, well, I can be annoyed and disturbed by the inflation and the prices of everything. And I can be upset that my cart's not working properly, or I can just appreciate the beauty in this. I can appreciate the beauty in, I'm looking at the eggs and there's a price on them, and that's a number. And how am I regarding that number? You know, because it's my experience. And then with the cart, and this is, you might find this strange, and a lot of our listeners might find this strange, but that's okay. I don't care. The cart, the way the wheels were jiggling around, it was making a rhythm that sounded to me like Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. And so I'm going along, and I realized that started a loop in my brain, because I know the Seventh Symphony really well. And then that was sort of the soundtrack to the rest of my experience. And I thought to myself, well, I like this. I like being
right? The Seventh
this
Symphony.
Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. It has that sort of dotted rhythm. You might have, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Some of our listeners might, if you watched, it's the Easter Bunny, Charlie Brown. I think that's the name of the show. And so that's going through my head, and I'm thinking, wow, this is great. Whereas before I would think,
yeah, it's fun. So you change the experience. Yeah.
So I change the experience and decide deliberately make the decision that I'm going to love my experience and observe it as a loving observer with a lot of loving kindness towards myself. Yeah.
That makes a big difference. That makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah. And then when I was at the self-checkout, there was a couple right in the kiosk next to me, and they were having some trouble. And so the guy, whoever is like, they don't have people usually at all the checkout lanes anymore who are checking out your groceries, which, so you have to check out your own groceries and scan them and bag them. And then there's somebody up at the front who can come to help you if you need ID or if you need something. And so he walks up to this couple, and he says, well, how are you doing? And the man, the husband, I guess, it was another day in paradise. Mm-hmm. And I laughed at that. There's a cynicism there. And I thought, well, you know, I can react that way, or I can appreciate what he's saying, and I can actually own that in a different way, rather than being a cynical comment. I can say, this is another day in paradise, because life is, like Byron Katie says, life is heaven. Life is paradise, right? Mm-hmm. And we can enjoy our experience, and we can choose to do that at any moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's so true. Danielle, she asked this question, you know, is what you're thinking serving you? Mm-hmm. What, you know, is it, how do you feel with those thoughts? How about you switch it to something that brings you a smile? Or
yeah. And that's another, go ahead. Sorry.
When we do what you say, to observe your thoughts, then you know how you feel, because we're not very good at looking at our emotions and naming them. But I think when we do that, it teaches us a lot. And also we can realize that, well, I have the ability to change how I feel.
Yes. Yeah.
By changing my thoughts.
That's within my power. Yeah. And to tell you the truth, I'm the only one who has that power.
Yeah. And somebody will say, how do you do that? Because obviously it's not instant. It takes practice.
Yes. Yeah.
It takes practice. And, you know, the more you practice it, the more you realize that actually you have the power to change.
That's right.
But at first you think, no, you know, it's almost like, you're moody, and then you will keep nurturing those moody thoughts, the thought that make you sad. It's, you know, like, almost like you love dwelling into it. But if you switch to but sometimes you're sad and you have somebody invites you to do something fun, and you say no. Almost like you enjoy stay, like, I don't feel like it. But you have to force yourself to do it, because the minute you do it, you won't be in your, you know, moody state anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless if that inspires you, like, you know, if
Yeah.
you're moody, if that inspires you, well, stay in your moodiness. But
Yeah.
I doubt it, right?
Yeah. Did you ever, Victor? Well, we've talked about Victor Bach, and I remember seeing an interview with him with Sarah Adnani,
I
and
watched it
he
with the
said,
bear.
yeah, he's talking about sleeping with a bear, which I thought was really fascinating. I don't know if I would go that
Anyway, but yeah.
but he said at some level, when you're experiencing sadness or frustration
Yeah.
or whatever it is, what we would call the negative side, there's some part of you that's secretly
Enjoys it.
enjoys that. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, because we, you know, this is an extreme example, but people end up being in love. There is a symptom, I forgot the name, how they call it, of their bourreau, like the person, you're the victim of, like if somebody, how do you call it? If somebody, for example, kidnaps you and then spends time
Oh,
with
I
you,
I, I want
you
to
end
say
up
it's
liking.
Munchausen syndrome,
Yeah,
but
Munchausen
is
syndrome,
that right? I
exactly.
think
Yeah.
that's the word that came to my mind. Yeah.
Munchausen syndrome, c'est ça, le syndrome de Munchausen. Yes. And so,
Yeah.
because somehow you get used to it, or even if you have a chronic pain, it almost becomes your friend.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
why, okay, so that book from Gabor Mate, In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, where is it? This one, about trauma is awesome, about addiction.
Yeah.
The hardest thing.
Yeah, by the way, he's on my list for next
He's
year.
awesome. All of
I'm
his
gonna dive
books.
into
If
his stuff.
there are
Yeah.
two people that I think have tremendously changed my life, three, but at the origin, it's Gabor Mate and Dan Seeger. These two people are like, wow. Anyway, but so in this book, he talks about it. The hardest thing for people, you know, he worked in Canada with people who are addicted in the streets, the drugs. The hardest for them was to be clean because they are not familiar. They don't know, you know. So that's why most of the time they go back to it.
Yes.
Because it's so not safe and familiar, and it's the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so even if it's bad, we end up liking the bad. You know,
that's
it
right.
becomes a friend. It becomes at least familiar. So
yeah.
Anyway, I think our time is up,
Yeah,
right?
our time is up, and we
Yeah.
always can go much
there's
longer.
more
But thank you everybody for joining us this morning, and have
we'll see you
be the loving
tomorrow.
observer of your experience, no matter what it happens to be today,
Yes.
and every day. Yeah.
Yes. Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, we're